Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. I started the volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks. Remember when resumes used to matter? They'd show you in high school how to build one. Maybe you took a class in college too. Suddenly, resumes no longer matter. If a good person with a wonderful life resume of good deeds and selfless activism does something bad, he's suddenly a bad person. If somebody that's a bad person and a creep has a good day, suddenly they're a great person. Don't resumes sort of matter? Antonio Brown and Bruce Arians, there's a back and forth on what was said on the sidelines. Did Bruce Arians force him to go in? Antonio Brown says, I was hurt and refused to go in. Who am I supposed to believe? Antonio Brown or Bruce Arians? 4 decades in the sport, beloved by players, beloved by assistants, built a diverse staff, wildly respected. Or Antonio Brown, rape accusations, robbed a delivery driver, kicked out of school. Antonio Brown's resume is of a bad person who treats virtually everyone, young, old, teammate, man, woman, terribly. I don't believe anything Antonio Brown says. Why would I? His professional sports resume is littered with half-truths and mistruths. And why would I doubt Bruce Arians? He's respected league-wide. Remember when Drew Brees came out and was, at least in my opinion, a little tone-deaf in regards to Black Lives Matter and teammates? He was roundly criticized for about a day, and then many people came to his defense. And the reason is because Drew Brees had a history in the league of helping teammates and coaches and helping rival players and giving to the state of Louisiana and the city of New Orleans. Resumes matter. The media does a very poor job at this. Good people make mistakes, and bad people and creeps have good days and have good deeds. When it comes to Antonio Brown and Bruce Arians, there is only one person based on their football resume that I'm going to believe. Pretty funny story this week. Hub Arkush, a sports writer in Chicago. And for the record, doesn't that sound like a sports writer in the 20s? Hub Arkush then covered the Senators to beat the Bruins in one of the greatest games ever while wearing a top hat. Hub Arkush on his typewriter pounded out another great story. Hub Arkush. God, I wish my name was Hub Arkush. It just sounds relevant, doesn't it? Red Barber with the play-by-play. Let's hand it over to Hub Arkush on the sidelines. Anywho, Hub Arkush came out in a Chicago radio station, and he said, I think Aaron Rodgers is a jerk, and I'm not going to vote for him for MVP. And then Aaron Rodgers came out yesterday and said, Hub Arkush is a bum. The whole damn thing's funny. Hub Arkush, folks, despite how grand his name is one of 50 voters. He does not reflect the entire media. If you're listening to me and your family, your immediate family and cousins is 50 people, and one of them got arrested, do I believe that your family is part of some sort of crime syndicate, or you have a D-bag somewhere in your family? Probably the latter. One person doesn't speak for a family. I don't get outraged when a single member of the media does something ridiculous because I choose not to be outraged. I have friends in the media, liberals and conservatives. They make money doing grievance television or having a grievance website. Do I really think Ben Shapiro is that pissed off all the time? No, because if he was, he'd need a mental health specialist. I don't think the anchors on MSNBC wake up screaming at the ceiling fan every day. that Fox News anchors really go around throwing pots and pans all day. But grievance and outrage sell. I don't think Hub Arkush, as he hammers out lines on his Telegram, speaks for the entire media. I think I like being able to tell the difference between something that's really worth getting upset about and what's unnecessarily built for click outrage. I hope you can tell too. These are television performances and radio performances. If you're really upset over what Hub Arkush said and it ruined your day, either get a dog or a girlfriend. It's funny. A sportswriter called a player a jerk, and the player called the sportswriter a bum. The whole damn thing's funny. Quite a stir on the interweb this week when Kirk Herbstreit, popular broadcaster for ESPN, a football analyst, said that players opting out of games, they don't love the game. Of course, that was ridiculous because we know in every industry, some people really love it. I love radio. I love TV. But I've worked with lots of people that do it for the paycheck, and it's not a central focus in their life. That's okay. We can both coexist. We know in the NFL, Tony Gonzalez once told me, the Hall of Fame tight end, that about 3 to 5% of players were really committed to the sport. The other 95, 97%, they liked what football could do for them more than they loved football. So Herbstreit goes out to say that players that opt out don't love the game. Yes, I think it's completely ridiculous. But I was also shocked that Reese Davis, the host of the show, was angered over the blowback. Oh, fellas, let me give you a lesson from somebody who gets hate all day. I'm honored to be imitated and privileged to be criticized. We're all making millions of dollars talking about sports. Did Reese Davis just figure out how Twitter works? Did Kirk Herbstreit think he could say that and not get some blowback? The reality is, those two work on a really popular Saturday show and are also assigned to the biggest bowl games at the network. So when they have the rare opinion, and Herbstreit's never been known for pointed, harsh criticism, if anything, everybody tends to be great. Coordinators, players, receivers, coaches, D linemen, and we all know about 5% in any industry is truly great. But if you have a criticism that is not in the direction of most media, you'll get blowback. And it's a privilege to get it. It means you're on shows and games that people are paying attention to. Big story in the media this week when Ken Rosenthal, baseball reporter, had his contract not renewed by the MLB Network because reportedly he had been critical of the commissioner, Rob Manfred. Woo! Journalism ethics breached. Huh? Ken Rosenthal is heavily employed. He wasn't fired by The Athletic. That's a journalistic enterprise. He wasn't fired by a broadcast network, Fox. They also employ him. He was not retained by the Major League Baseball Network. What, we think that's the Pointer Institute? It's run by Major League Baseball. Listen, if you work for the NFL Network, you may want to ease up on your Roger Goodell criticism or hammering Jerry Jones. Let's not be idealistic about this. Ken Rosenthal does a terrific job. He had 3 employers. He was fired by none. But you got to know the temperature in the room. And if you choose to work for the NHL Network, be careful with Bettman criticism. Or the NBA Network, Adam Silver's watching every night. Again, what journalism ethic was breached? He criticized Rob Manfred. Manfred didn't come down from his office and fire him. I've been in this business 25 years. Over the course of that time, I have worked with dozens of sportscasters, men, women, who have not been retained when their contract is over. Do you know There's two reasons why. They're not very good. This is not the case with Ken Rosenthal. Or they piss somebody off in power. If Rosenthal would have been fired by Fox and The Athletic, that would be concerning. But the MLB Network? We all know there's no teeth at these league-owned networks. They are there simply to promote their sports.